already. Am I that late? Exactly on the hour as far as I can tell. So looks like I'm on time. Okay, folks. This is... Let me just get this a bit closer. This is episode... Oh, I'll get there in a minute. This is episode 49 of TrampCast. Sunday, December the 1st, 2024. Happy New Month, everybody. Welcome to December as we do the final run into Christmas. And my little girl decides to come out now and noisily take a drink. See whether we can get her on camera. There she is, taking her water. Hey babe, say hello to the peoples. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna lick my leg. There she is. Jack Attack's in the house. Let me see who else. There was someone else there. Was it Thomas? I think it was Thomas Erickson. Oh, I've gone for top chat. I didn't want top chat. Live chat. We want them all. There we go, folks. Okay. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Delta Mike, that's me. Down and out. A tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, a homeless person, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some would say a bum. Others would say just someone who sleeps rough on the streets, or in my case, in a field. Skull, Thomas, skull. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. You guys have got your your three extra vowels that we don't have. Your o, a, oo, or whatever something like that. Ooh, ow, eh. Somewhere in there, aren't we? My friends did try to teach me. My friends did try to teach me all the ooh, ow, eh. Where are we? I was listing synonyms in a field. That's right. I just about got there. So this is TrampCast, where we detail the successes, the failures, the other happenings in my life as a homeless person in Torrevieja in Spain, a homeless Englishman. We also detail some of the circumstances sometimes of how we got there. If anybody's new here and hasn't seen it, you can search for TrampCast 001. It's 2.5 hours long. It's way too long, but it's the full story. It's the full history, answering people's questions. Hello there, dirty faces. I think that's a new name on me. Welcome. Okay. So the format of the show, for anyone who's new, I spent 5 or 10 minutes doing some random facts about the episode number. So for example, this is episode 49, so we'll be doing shortly some facts about the number 49. It's just a silly bit of filler while we wait to see if anybody else joins us here in the live stream. Speaking of which, can we get some thumbs up? 7 people here currently. It was 8 a moment ago, so I've scared some people away already. Well done, mate. But thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, folks. Okay. After we do the numbers, we do the thank yous, the people that have helped me in the past week. PayPal donations in particular, but also people who've been to the camp who have supplied me with food, water, alcoholic beverages sometimes, and cash occasionally. So we cover those in the thank you section. Then we have a bit of a preamble about themes of the week. What are the overall struggles or ideas or problems I've had in the week? And then we just go through the week, the events during the week, and finally we wrap up with what's upcoming, what challenges or what events are coming up in the days after that. So without further ado, as I said, this is episode 49 of TrampCast. So we're going to have some facts about the number 49. So number 49 is a square number, the 7th square number. It's 7 squared, 7 by 7. Which means, incidentally, it's also a semi-prime, because those are its only, other than itself and 1, those are the only factors that you multiply together to get the product of 49. So it's a semi-prime because its only divisors are 7 and 7, as well as 1 at itself. It's also the sum of consecutive numbers. If you add up the digits the numbers 4 to 10, you will get 49. Okay, 1849, California, and the gold rush. From where we get the term, the minor 49ers, and the song, Oh My Darling Clementine. Her father was a minor 49er. Also, the San Francisco 49ers, that's your football team. I'll use inverted commas or air quotes, whatever you want to call them. Football. Okay, gridiron, American football, call it what you will. Tina girl, Tina. Hey. No, hey, it's just people walking past. Come here and be cuddled. Come here. You're okay, they're not going to hurt you. It's okay, you're okay. She wants to protect me from the people that are walking past. Okay, where was I? Minor 49ers. Okay. Alaska was the 49th state to join the Union when it was purchased from Russia, I think it was, yeah? Also, 49th parallel is the main line, the main parallel for the border between the US and Canada. A long stretch of the, I think anything that's not a lake, more or less, is the 49th parallel. International direct dialing code plus 49 on your phone will get you Germany. And finally, we always have one with a few sub-facts to go with it, the atomic number 49. This is indium, not iridium, but indium. Takes its name from indigo, which was one of the lines on the spectrum when it was analysed, spectroscopy and all that. Has the symbol IN. It's a soft white metal with a seriously low melting point. Now the discoverers have fantastic names, so I'm just gonna, I don't normally list the discoverers of these metals, but one of them, Ferdinand Reich, yeah, and the other one, Hieronymus Theodor Richter. I just thought those were two fantastic names, so I just had to give them their mention for their place in history and discovering indium and writing up the scientific papers therewith. Now its uses, it's coming to some serious usage in the last 20-25 years. Flat panel displays, so that's basically computer monitors, TVs, phones, LCD displays basically. LCD or LED, yeah. But also used a lot in semiconductors, and it's still used in some solders because of its low melting point. Okay folks, as I said, it's a short one. Those were some facts about the number 49, because this is episode 49 of TrampCast. Okay. After the numbers is the thanks, the thank yous. I've got a few quite, yeah, the last week's been quite good on the PayPal front. Thank you folks, and there's a reason I think for some of these. Ivar H, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I would have said Ivor, but it's specifically spelled with an A, so Ivar H. He sent me 3 separate donations over the last few weeks, and this one in particular, Ivar, okay, there we go, you see, it's pronunciation, these different countries and their different pronunciation of vowels in particular. Okay, but yeah, I've had 3 donations over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and this last one was tremendous. So thank you very much, Eva. Andrew P as well. That ain't cheap. Thank you, sir. That was, I think that was last night when I mentioned my birthday on, was it on Big Clive or probably Scruff Dog? Maybe Big Clive. But yeah. Now here's one. A couple of other guys to thank here. Dean M. I've mentioned before your name, sir, is significant to me. I'll leave it there. But thank you very much for your donation. And Edward P. or Edward P. Again, depending on your pronunciation and your location, I guess. But thank you very much. And one other person to thank here. Tina girl, you're tearing things. Darling, you're death and destruction, aren't you? Stop it. There's nothing in that tin foil and it'll hurt you. Stop. Good girl. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Now, one word from me and she does as she wants. My friend Tom has been round to the campsite a couple of times. I'm not sure if it's twice or 3 times this week. He came twice on Friday. So I think that must be 3. I think he would have come earlier in the week at one point. But he came twice on Friday with with beverages and food. So yeah. And he gave me a financial contribution as well. He asked me how I was for cash, and I told him I was okay on PayPal, but I was a little low on Redis, cash in hand. And he gave me a little bit. So thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone who's helped. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I looked through PayPal and I saw a couple of these donations I'd not even seen this week. Normally PayPal alerts me when there's a donation, pop up on the screen or in the events list, whatever it's called, the notifications. But a couple of you, I didn't get the messages like instantaneously. It's only when I went into the app myself and looked. So apologies if I've been slow to reply to anybody. I will get to you. I will thank you in writing where that's possible. So yeah, that's still to come for a couple of you. I know for a fact that I haven't got to everybody on that. Okay, folks, those were the thank yous for this week. The week ending Sunday, December the 1st, 2024. In this episode 49 of TrampCast. Now, themes for the week. I didn't really sense these at the time. I think I've had to kind of backfill these today when I did my notes of the events of the week, and I've drawn the themes from my notes here rather than me being totally aware of this was happening at the time. But I guess the one thing that I would have noticed as it was happening, I struggled for power management a little bit more than usual this week. If you remember last Sunday when we did TrampCast, I haven't turned them on yet. I put the Christmas tree lights on last week and I kept them on for about 4 hours and used, I think overnight, with having that on and whatever else I did, maybe charging batteries and things for TrampCast, I used about 30% more of my EcoFlow's battery storage than I normally would overnight. So I woke up Monday morning much lower on power, and then it was a cloudy day, and we'll get to that when we do the week in detail. But yeah, I woke up with the EcoFlow kind of severely depleted, and then no sunshine, or not much, to try and replenish it. So, and that went on for a few days really. Struggling to get enough power to get through the night and keep everything going. It's only later in the week I was able to put the Christmas tree lights back on again. But yeah, so the overcast weather and power management were certainly together. The combination, those were a factor. Now the mice have left me alone this week, as far as I know, as far as I can tell. The little buggers can be around and you don't know, but they're definitely back here in principle. And as I said, I chased them out of the tent twice last week, which is a little concerning, but hopefully they didn't find anything, because most of my food is boxed up in plastic boxes. All of the dog food is boxed up and away. occasionally there'll be a little bit of something out. I got a couple of bags here with food from when I, from shopping, or that people have brought me, the loaf of bread, and there was a bag of crisps. So if they were to get in at the right time and in the right place, they could find a source for that night, but they'd annoy me. So far, I've seen no evidence that they've got into anything, and as I said, I literally chased them out. So maybe they've just taken the hint. Maybe the lack of food plus the big guy stomping about and the dog barking and chasing around, maybe that gives them the message. I doubt it. It never did last year. I guess. But the mice being quiet, so that's been a bit of a relief after last week. And the other two themes for the week really was Thanksgiving over in the States. I said last week I was going to do a Thanksgiving video, and in the end I chose not to. I think the previous year it had happened spontaneously. I just sat on a cliff top and was just started talking one morning, and then just went off and said my thank yous to everyone who's helped me over that previous year, I guess. This year, because I announced it in advance, it felt like it might be a bit performative, a little bit, what's the word? Contrived, I guess. And with me not even being a Yank, with me being a Brit, I don't know. I just decided at the last minute, I guess, just not to go down that route this year. I am thankful to everybody, as I've just said, everyone helped this week, and everyone who's ever helped me. But doing a separate video, look at me while I thank everybody, didn't sit right with me. I just wasn't feeling it. So I hope that's okay with everyone. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. But the other one that I've got listed here was, it was my birthday on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Black Friday, I guess. So that was just a quiet day in the tent here. But these anniversaries and birthdays, they always prompt a little bit of looking back and pondering, where did life go wrong? I've got awnings. The tent is literally sat on old awnings, Jack Attack, and I've got some other awnings on the bedroom to help with waterproofing. But one of my birthday presents, I guess I'll talk about this now, it'll come up again later during the week's events. One of my birthday presents from my friend Karen is a fuck off big tarp. I think big enough to cover the entire tent. Now that won't stop them coming under. And like I said, there are awnings, it's the rips that they're coming in through, I think. I don't think, there's no sign that I've seen of them like digging up through the floor like they did in the last tent, because there is a lot of material under here already, a lot of padding and stuff. Yeah. But I'm going to be okay for waterproofness, and it's just the little Mises, which we hate. We hate the Mises to pieces, as Mr. Jinx used to say, the cat. I hate Mises to pieces. Pixie and Dixie? Maybe? It's a long time ago. I don't know. I don't even know. Is that what the cartoon would have been called? Pixie and Dixie? Don't know, folks. There's an old memory, dragging them up from the 70s, old kids TV programs. So okay, I think that those are the themes for the past week. So where are we? See, I'm scooting through it here. We're not even on 20 minutes, and I'm ready to start the week proper. Getting on with it, folks. It's not going to be a long one. It's been a quiet week overall, I think. But so if you're sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. As I said, this is episode 49 of TrampCast with me, Delta Mike. The channel is down and out in Torrevieja, and the events of the last week will start, as we often do, with last Sunday immediately preceding the TrampCast. And I have to say I enjoyed my return to TrampCast. Pixie, Dixie and Mr. Jinx, I thought it was, yeah. Yeah, I kind of half remember it. So yeah, I enjoyed my return to TrampCast. I think I'd announced my return a couple of weeks previous and then skipped a bit, hadn't I haven't been doing these too frequently. A little bit of ups and downs, a little bit of, I don't like to use the word depression, but possibly. But I'm back on top now, folks. I'm back. I didn't do the videos this week that I thought I was going to do, but I'm okay for doing TrampCast. So I enjoyed it last week and I'm back again this week, so that's a good sign. So, as I said before, I kept the Christmas tree lights on. I used about 30% extra of the EcoFlow River 2, my battery, my solar generator battery backup device thing. Solar power station, as some would call them. Solar system, others call them, which reminds me of the sun and the earth and all the moon, you know, all the planets. But yeah, I used up a lot of power with keeping the tree on for 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. And I think that's because of the round trip, that the power stored as DC. I'm having to use the AC on the EcoFlow to power the tree, even though it then goes through a DC power brick, and it's only spitting out 12 volts at half an amp. But just having the inverter on has an overhead, and then you've got the losses in power two ways, DC to AC back to DC. So you've got inherent inefficiencies as well as just the inverter overhead itself. So I think that's where a lot of my power went. And that Sunday night having the tree on, I think shaped my week, as I mentioned before in the themes for the week. I woke up Monday morning with the EcoFlow on 35%, and when I looked out and I went to go and put the solar panel out, on a night it sits level over the top of my cool box, protecting it from rain or whatever. But then I stand it up to face the sun, and the sun doesn't get directly overhead anymore, so it needs to face it. And Tina girl, let's have some quiet. So I went out to stand the solar panel up, and I looked at the sky and it was just bloody grey. It looked like it was going to rain, really. It was dull and overcast, a little bit cool. Not going to use the word cold. I haven't really been cold yet this year. I've been the wrong side of comfortable. I put a jumper on 2 different occasions. I put a sweater on twice. I am actually getting into bed now, not just lying on the bed. And occasionally at about 4 or 5 in the morning, I'll get under a second quilt, a second duvet, second comforter, if that's your preferred language. Not quite the same thing, I know, but I like to translate for my American friends. They don't know what a duvet is. So it's not cold, but sometimes I'm just the wrong side of cool. So anyway, we had this cooler day, no sun at all. A little bit later on in the afternoon, I moved the EcoFlow and the solar panel over the other side of the field, because not long after midday or 2 o'clock, the solar panel's in the shadow of the tent. So I had to move it away so it could actually face the sun. I managed to put like an extra 10% on the EcoFlow. So we went into the night on 45% charge, which I proceeded to more or less use most of overnight, or a large proportion of, charging phones and tablets. I tend to have my phone or the tablet playing YouTube videos basically all night long, just for background noise. If not that, then a bit of music or something, which isn't as heavy because I can set that going without the screen on. But that's where my power goes, folks. That's where my power goes. So that was Monday, really. A cool day with no sun, and just trying to eke out some power from the solar panel as and when we could, and just entertaining myself with YouTube videos. And I've been on a real kick with The Mentalist still, and also the French version of HPI. The American program's called High Performance Intellectual, I think, or High Performance Intellect, maybe. The French one, Haute Potentiel Intellectual, something like that. But I got the subtitles, so I like. I think I mentioned in the past. I like those smartest person in the room kind of programs. Your Sherlock Holmeses and Elementaries and Mentalist and all of that kind of stuff. There's a whole raft of them that we listed variously on I think on Scruff Dog's channel while we were all in the chat, mainly Wednesday night, which we'll get to shortly. So yeah, so Tuesday, I got the solar panel out early because I realised the urgency of the fact I was so low on power. I don't think I've written down the actual value, how low I was, but I think we were below 20%. Yeah, sure, you can do questions. Yeah, anytime actually. If you want to dive in with if the question's relevant to what I'm talking about at that point, you can ask, or save it for the end, and we'll do them there. So keeping myself entertained, folks. Just keeping myself entertained and managing the power. So like I said, we started Tuesday. I got the power. I got the solar panel up early, but it's winter. The sun isn't up. I've got a big bank of trees over on the east, and even when it's light and you can see that there is sun over there, it's not above the trees until that little bit later this time of year. And then the first it does get above the trees, there's a big power pole, a big, like a telegraph pole, a wooden pole in the way, obscuring half the panel for the first quarter of an hour, half an hour. So I managed to get up to 50% power on the EcoFlow by noon, and then it turned cloudy and looked like rain again. So that it looked like that was all we were going to get. But again, later on in the afternoon, that last couple of hours, 4 o'clock onwards, move the panel over the other side of the field, have it face that way, and I did manage to get up to 70%, which was quite a relief. At 70%, I've got enough to get through that night, and another one if we have a dull day with no sun. So yeah, we got a few intervals of muted sunlight. Excuse me. And it wasn't sunny, but you know, just enough coming through the clouds to trigger the panel, and I put an extra few percent on the EcoFlow, and I carry on watching my TV programs. It's been a big relief to me. See, when my last phone packed in a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, I think, I had that feeling of dread of I'm going to be left with no entertainment, like I was for 5 months a couple of years ago. 5 months in a field. This was before I even had a tent over my head or any kind of cover or shelter. At the beginning anyway. And to be honest, it was hell, mentally. Going dark, when it gets dark at 5:30, and it's going to be dark until almost 8 the next morning. And you've got I didn't even have lights, I didn't have anything. Couldn't even read a book at night because nothing. So when my phone packed in recently, I got that dread, those worries. It's been such a relief to get back up and running so quickly, thanks to you guys, and to get back online, get back on and watch YouTube and also download some old TV shows. I just recently finished watching Babylon 5, did the full run through, and now, as I said, I'm on a big kick with The Mentalist. Yeah, entertainment is it's a good time killer when you've got nothing else to do, and like I said, if you've got no other worries, I've got plenty of other worries and other things, but like even during the big storm. When was that now? It must be a month ago now. The big storm that killed a couple hundred people here in the Valenciana community. 250 some, I think the number is now. When that big storm hit, and we only got the tail end of it. We only got a fraction of it. But I was having to go out every hour and re-secure the tarpaulins on the roof with these big clamps, these big clips that I've got. And they'd blow off periodically and I'd have to go back. So I'm having to stay awake all night. And I was trying to watch TV programs in in the other hands, but because the wind is so loud, can't hear the speaker on the phone. But Anthony, my friend Anthony, his son Ronan, gave me a Bluetooth speaker a while back on his last visit, and it's much louder than the phone. So even with the howling wind and rain, I was able to do the Bluetooth thing to the speaker and still be able. I had to put the speaker, even on full, I had to put it next to my ear so that I could carry on watching TV, watching programs, and actually hear what's going on. All the while, like listening for these clamps, these pegs, like big close pegs, but you know, much more stronger. Much more stronger. Bad grammar. Much stronger. But they were pinging off as the fabric gets pulled tight by the wind. They would twang off like clothes pegs. You know, the spring-loaded ones. So having entertainment has been a godsend. Even when you've got worries, even when there's even when your tent's falling apart and being ripped apart and the water's getting in, and it's a distraction. It's a distraction. It helps just to give your mind something else to focus on. So yeah, so this was Tuesday. So the solar's out, and I'm up to 70% as the sun starts to go down, and I'm watching programs, and that basically was the day. Again, another battle for power for recharging the solar. Guys, I gotta say, don't matter where you live, doesn't matter where you live or what preparedness you think you've got, get yourself one of these, an EcoFlow or a Jackery or a Bluetti, one of these solar power stations, solar generator, call it what you will. Get yourself one of those and a couple of solar panels. They are a godsend. If ever you've got power cuts, you don't want to be sat there like America recently. 2 hurricanes was it within the same week? Maybe just over a week or 10 days. Helene, the second one, was it? You don't want to be sat there for 2-3 weeks with no power after something happens. And big parts of Europe now in particular, and the UK especially, are more vulnerable than they've ever been to power cuts. They're really reliant on renewables, which can disappear, and the coal's all gone, the coal-powered stations, the stuff that you could have, you know, like throw another bucket of coal on the fire in the power station and ramp up the electric production, it's gone. And something like 1/3 or 1/4 of nuclear power stations are currently offline. And those are the only thing we've got left that where you can ramp up the power generation quickly. So you're kind of vulnerable to rolling power cuts, which the UK government are telling people, and people are not really listening. Now, really, the government should just be doing more to counter it, but just telling people to be prepared seems to be their answer. Rant over, folks, but just spare a thought. Plan in advance a little bit. I was told by a friend that EcoFlows are on sale in the high street electrical shops now. I don't remember which ones went out of business or not. Your Comet, Curry's, Dixon's, those kind of places, or your B&Q's and Home Base, whatever your DIY stores are called. Go get yourself an EcoFlow, a Jackery, a Bluetti, something like that. That's my advice. Listen to a tramp. He knows. I'm surviving in a field. Kind of. With your help. Okay, folks, that was Tuesday. Into Wednesday. And I said we'd finish the day on 70% on the power. We're down to 45 when I wake up Wednesday morning from me running my gadgets and lights, and I got a string of fairy lights up. I've got 2 strings, I've only got one of them up at the minute. Runs off 3 AA batteries, which I have to recharge every second day. Looks like it will run for 2 days or more off one set of batteries. Tina girl, Tina, you're kicking the stand, darling. Doggy. Death and destruction. But yeah, so I have to power my I've got a power bank, I've got a tablet, I've got this phone, I've got a speaker or two, I've got some headphones. I'm doing all right for a tramp, aren't I? To say that I moved into this field with not well. I had a few things when I moved into this field, and they all got wiped out pretty quickly. We've discussed that ad nauseum. TrampCast 001 for the full story. So anyway, well, I woke up on 45, and it looks like it's going to be a good day for charging. It looks sunny and clear sky, so I got the solar panel in place, and I sit there for an hour, not realizing the fucking solar panel is not plugged into the EcoFlow. I think I'd moved it to get it nearer the Christmas tree or something, and I'd not plugged it. Oh no, when it had been at the other end of the field, and I've carried back the panel separately from the EcoFlow, and I've passed the cable through the little flap in the side of the tent, this little zipper thing, and I'd just, because it was night, what was the point of plugging it in? So I sat there for an hour with glorious sunshine on the solar panel, with zero being added. Idiot. So I plugged it in the end, and we started to make some progress, and I got my power underway. Started to charge all my batteries, which were all fairly low, all my AA's and AAA's from the Tina. All the AA's and AAA's from my various head torch lights, fairy lights, whatever else I've got that's battery powered. Get them all in a line and get them all underway. And I've got a little lantern as well here, which is one of these awkward USB-C but not really USB-C type things. You have to plug it into USB-A at the other end. It doesn't follow the USB spec properly. USB-C to USB-C won't charge it, which is a little bit awkward, because that could have been higher power, but no. Hello, Karen. How you doing, lass? Feeling any better? Okay, folks. So yeah, I'm getting everything charged. It's Wednesday, and I start downloading Christmas songs. My idea is to start sitting here in my chair a little bit more often. I got this, I don't know if it's a Queen Anne armchair, but it's that kind of thing. A good, big, proper, sturdy, upright armchair. I got my Christmas tree just to the side here. Let me show you. Here's my Christmas tree. As I said, I haven't put the lights on yet, but my idea is to put the Christmas tree lights on, to have my tablet maybe, or maybe my phone, playing Christmas songs and Christmas carols in the background on low, and then maybe sit here and watch a movie or something. Get into the festive spirit. Sorry, here it's not improving, Karen. We'll chat later. So that's basically my Wednesday, guys. Entertainment again, trying to get the power up, and we got there. We got up, right up to 95% at the end of the day. It probably had hit 100, but I'd been using it, charging the little power bank and things. Tina girl, you're kicking the bloody. Yeah, Die Hard's a classic Christmas movie. I always watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve. Has to be done. Despite what Bruce said, he said it wasn't a Christmas movie, but he's an idiot. He's on his way out, really, isn't he? Yeah, unfortunate. Good actor, I liked him. Right the way back with Moonlighting, back in the 80s. I think that was his break, wasn't it, with Sybil Shepherd? That was his big break. Then he had a few hits, a few songs in the charts. And then they announced he was going to do an action movie. And everybody laughed and said, how ridiculous. And that was Die Hard. I'm fairly sure that was his first film. So yeah, okay, Wednesday comes to an end. I'm downloading Christmas songs. Okay. Now, Thursday was a bit of a strange one. So, as I said, folks, my phone packed in a while back, and Karen, in fact, gave me this replacement phone. Thank you, Karen. And not everything transferred across, because the old phone wasn't there. You couldn't transfer anything across. I thought I was relying on Google. I thought all my contacts and phone numbers and passwords, I thought they were all being backed up to Google. And so when I logged into my Google account using one of those one-time verification codes because of two-factor authentication, I thought it would all come rushing across. But apparently a lot of it not being backed up, I'd maybe not set the options that I thought I'd set. Or maybe some options got flipped at some point. I don't know. I lost a lot of my contacts. So folks, if you were chatting with me at any point on WhatsApp, Messenger, or just directly SMS or phone, drop me an SMS with, you know, so that I get your number. Tell me your name in the SMS so that I can store the name and number and get you resynchronized, reattached. Because I was chatting, someone reached out to me, a friend from the UK, and their contact had disappeared, and we were, I don't know, the connection just wasn't there. And then suddenly it was, and apparently she'd sent me a couple of messages over the last month or so, and I'd not seen them. So this was Thursday. Yeah, contacted by an old friend, and we had a bit of a catch up, you know, exchanged messages, and move forward from there. We're back in touch now, so that's good. But anybody else out there? There's lots of you where I've WhatsApp. When WhatsApp re-established, I only had about 5 contacts in it. So anybody and everybody, if you've been in touch with me before directly, if we've established communication, just ping me an SMS or a WhatsApp or whatever. Put in the body of the message who you are, so that I can label the phone number correctly in my contacts, and we'll pick up and chat again. So yeah, this was the thing. Thursday. This was Thanksgiving. This was where I had decided. Previously, I thought I was going to do a Thanksgiving video, and then I didn't. I figured it felt too performative. It felt too much like I would be doing a performance. Look at me, thanking you all, and it just. So yeah, that was Thursday really, and that takes us into Friday, doesn't it? Now the weather's getting better at this point. The days are sunnier, so that I'm not having the power problems. Yeah. When you swap phones, if you don't have the old phone available and on hand, so that you can guarantee that you can move things across. I mean, there are apps that will move it all across, and you can connect them with wires and things, or do it with Bluetooth. And if you've got the old phone and the new phone at the same time, but if one just stops working, so mine just stopped taking charge. I knackered the USB connection. Poking around, it was getting really difficult to work. You know, when you have to start bending wires backwards to try and make a connection work. And then I started poking and prodding, and something crunched. So my phone just ran down the power it had, and that was it gone. And if you haven't got the phone and you're relying on settings, I was relying on Google. I was sure that I'd got Google set up to back up all my contacts and everything. But apparently it just wasn't there. Or I'd tell a lot. I mean, it's not that nothing was there. It was like I'd get 3 or 4 contacts. Like I said, WhatsApp, 5 contacts. Messenger was more or less okay, I think. I mean, I can't confirm. How do you confirm that everyone's there just by looking at? But it looks like it's more or less intact. But my actual just phone contacts, the list of phone numbers, and of course the new phone tries to switch to a different app. It's a Samsung, so it tries to use all of Samsung's apps to manage everything. So at the minute, I haven't even got autofill on passwords when I'm logging into things. There was a Google app that was filling everything automatically, like whenever I went to PayPal or whatever. That's all gone. None of that's even working because the Samsung thing tries to jump in the middle. It's all a bit awkward once you swap phones, and I've been battling with it for, like, is it a month? I don't know. Is it a month? Is it 2? I don't know. I lose track. time, folks. I'm living in a field, you know. Some days I hardly get out of the tent. So yeah, it's all a bit awkward sometimes. Okay, Thursday into Friday, and I'm sat there Thursday night, and as the clock ticks to Friday, and I can't remember exactly how this went, but I remember wishing myself happy birthday. But then I think I nodded off, and the next thing I know, I think it's like 2:30 or something, and I think Karen messaged me, and Mark, another guy, Mark, contacted me during the night to say happy birthday. So that was good. And then I got my presents the next day. I've got a bag over here of the presents from Karen. I can't tell you what one of them was because I lose subscriptions whenever I lose subscribers whenever I mention alcohol. But cheers. See, I thought about doing a birthday stream, but I did a birthday stream last year and lost subscribers because some of you lot are cheers, Jack Attack. Some of you guys are anti-alcohol or anti-me having alcohol. I'm not sure what it is. I'm getting a bit dark. It's getting a bit dark, isn't it? Let's have a look. What should I do? The Christmas tree or just this light? I guess I'll put this on because I'll be needing it for the I'll be needing it. Whoa. I'll be needing it to read my notes anyway, won't I? I've got 2 or 3 sources of light down here, including my head torch. But again, this is where the power's needed, folks. This is why the batteries, 3 batteries in the back of this this light and fan. If you have any of you watched my OnlyFans video? It's on YouTube. It's not on OnlyFans, and it was a joke post, but I enjoyed it. It was a silly bit of humour. Sorry, someone said something, and I was distracting away. Yeah, I know that Google stroke YouTube prune subscribers periodically if they think they're bots, or I think if you have a lot of subscriptions, if that person is subscribed to a lot of sites, I think it will cycle out ones maybe that they haven't been to for a while and unsubscribe them, and you're left with the mystery of why did everybody leave. But there are some clear patterns. There are some. Where we're going with the the extractor fan? Yeah, oh, you and your dad jokes. Jack Attack. I was lost there for a second. It took me half a second. Then I remembered who I was dealing with. Extractor fan. Nice one. Okay, folks. So that into Friday. Like I said, it's my birthday, and I opened my presents. I'll tell you what there was, even though you'll unsubscribe. There was a couple of I think they're 1/3 bottles of vodka. They're big. I think they're bigger than a quarter, and they're smaller than a half bottle. So somewhere around 1/3 of a bottle. It would be my guess. And as I said, the big tarp, which is, I looked at the numbers, it's something like 8 meters by 8 by 6.5, something like that. Basically, it should be able to start on the ground at that end of the tent, rise up, cover the entire tent, and go all the way down. Maybe not quite to the ground, maybe just, because the roof is 5.5 meters long because of the way that the side slopes in. The only issue really is the amount of weight that I've got on the frame on these rods at the minute, because we've got, well, there's still some of the original tent here. There's a big tarp over the top. The bedrooms are still hanging either side, and then we've got Toldos material, awning fabric, waterproof awning fabric in places, and extra tarps. 2 or 3 extra tarps dangling from the framework around. If I had another tarp just over the top, what's happening is the arches, the carbon fibre rods are being squashed down from above, by the way, and they're probably giving with age as well, with fixed use. So if you imagine the arch is being flattened, and when you flatten an arch, you push the sides out. So my tent's getting wider. The bedrooms aren't hanging right on here. The zip of the bedroom no longer fits across. In fact, it broke and stopped working because it got pulled apart by the tension. That can't be right. Is that tension? Pulling. Is it tension? Push? Oh, I don't know. I can never remember which way around those go. I'm not an engineer. But yeah, new tarp. That was a birthday present. Fantastic present from Karen and family, which, knowing me, I will wait until half an hour before it starts raining heavily one day to actually put on. So far, we're getting away with it weather-wise. We had that one big storm, the big storm, like I said, killed people. We had that. We've had two small, like, torrential rain outbreaks that were like half an hour or a couple of hours. And that's been about it. The field's starting to look nice and green again. Little, you know, it's getting some green, and the little bushes here are starting to blossom. Is December a good time to be blossoming? I'm not sure. I don't know how that works, but yeah. Anyway, back to Friday. Now, in the afternoon, my mate Tom, who I thought had left the country, Tom's gone on a little holiday, a little break away, and he turned up, much to my surprise. And we must have had a miscommunication at some point. Either I've misremembered what he said, or maybe he's misspoke when he told me what day he was going away. And he turned up on the Friday, I think he brought a litre bottle of beer, which we sat and split between us. And then he went away, and that evening he went out to a restaurant and ordered a large, ordered extra. And a couple of hours later came down here and brought me a meal and another bottle of beer. That's nice. My birthday, 2 visits from a friend, bearing gifts both times. Can't argue with that, folks. So yeah. Oh, and this is where he brought food, beer, and gave me a little bit of money. This is when he asked me how I was doing for cash, and I said I was getting a little bit low on actual notes in the hand, but that I was okay on PayPal, and with this prepayment card that Karen got me, this prepaid debit card thing, I'm all right at the minute. In fact, well, we'll get to it shortly. I got a payment went out because it's my phone renews tonight. We'll get to that when we look at the upcoming, because Labara are one of my pet peeves. My phone company. Phone companies are the same all over the world, guys. The mobile phone companies. They're a shower of shit. But... okay. Friday night. And this like I said, this is when Tom came back. Probably somewhere between 8 and 30:30. So it's well dark outside. And I'm just that wrong side of comfortable. I'm not cold, but I'm getting a little bit that way now, actually. Sat here in just a t-shirt and shorts. I'm still t-shirt, shorts, and no socks. Just kind of bare feet in a slip-on shoe in a little pump. Plimsolls, I guess. So occasionally, I think twice, I've put a jumper on, a sweater on. I got one here just in case it gets that way. But Tom came and brought me this food, and we sat inside here in the tent. I brought an extra chair into the tent, and we sat here with the Christmas tree lights on, and this lamp, I think. And I had my food and drank some of the beer before he left. He said goodbye, and he's off for a few days away in North Africa just for a short break. Thank you, Tom. I don't know if you'll watch this, mate. You probably won't see this. You've got better things to do with your time right now. But thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the food, the beers and for the cash. Much appreciated. So Friday night, folks, what do we know about me and Friday night? Friday night tights. Except no, kind of just wasn't. I put it on and just wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't in the mood for that. And I think it was half an hour later, Scruff Dog started a stream that I wasn't expecting. So I switched over to Scruff Dog. You need a new tent. A new tent would be the ideal, but this one's only 8 or 9 months old, as you well know. I think I have to get at least a year. When you guys, all of you, but Karen paid half. But when you guys have paid for me a new tent and paid as much as we did for it, I think I have to try and get at least a year out of it, and then try and make the next one last longer if I'm still here for that. I just to for anyone who's new, just to catch up. I got this tent in March, I think, the very beginning of March, like March the 5th or 6th, I think someone said recently. And straight away the police were on my back, like that night, hour and a half, 2.5 hours after it went up, and again the next day. And because of how the police were, if you look back at my videos around that time, I was being pestered week in, week out by them. And I thought that putting a tarp over the top, putting a bright, shiny tarp over the top would have brought more attention and more trouble. And because of like the chilling effect of being questioned, harassed, arrested, beaten up, my dog kicked, because of the chilling effect of all that, I was reluctant to put this tarp over the top, even when it became apparent that the tent was starting to suffer under the sun. I should have put it up sooner with hindsight. I mean, after I put it up, they haven't bothered me at all anyway. So my fear looks like it was unfounded. But what can you do? They give you that impression, so that's the impression you have. But if I had this tent over again, you know, there'd be a big tarp over it from the start, just to keep the sun and the ultraviolet off it. But you live and you learn, folks. You live and you learn. I think I can get a little bit more time out of it, but probably not as much as I would like. And yeah, I think as Stephanie said there, a more permanent structure would be ideal, but I don't think you can go around just building semi-permanent or even permanent structures on other people's land. It's bad enough that I'm on someone else's land anyway. Not trespassing. I haven't been asked to leave by the owner. You're only trespassing after you've been asked to leave. Technicality, I know, but such is life. Anyway, Scruff Dog. I was going to watch Friday Night Tights, but I wasn't in the mood, and Scruff Dog started a stream. Why would you not go back to the UK? Long story, Derek. Basically, I'm prevented from doing so at the minute by some legal difficulties. A court case hanging over my head. Full story, TrampCast 001. It's all in there. The full story, how it came to be, why it came to be, what the difficulties are. Yeah, there's also the fact that the last time I went to the airport, I was arrested at the airport and just brought back. And there's the difficulties of getting me and my dog out anyway. And I want to go back. They're just not letting me. Okay, folks. So Friday night, Scruff Dog. I'm hanging out in the chat on Scruff Dog's stream. I can't remember whether Jack Attack was there for that one on the Friday. Not sure if you were there, mate. You were definitely there Saturday, weren't you, for the with the dad jokes? Okay, so I then fell asleep and fairly early by my standards, but then I woke up 2:30 in the morning. My unbirthday, the day after my birthday. I wake up Saturday morning 2:30, take the doggy for a walk. Always nice to take the dog for a walk at some ridiculous time of night with my head torch on my head, but usually turned off. Only put it on for the bits that we need. Don't want to be broadcasting my my position. But yeah, she has the weirdest timing sometimes. So Saturday, quiet day, sat in the tent again, solar panels out and harvesting the sun, and just a day watching The Mentalist and YouTube videos on the French version of HPI. It's a fantastic program, by the way. I know it depends whether you're into that kind of program and whether you like watching French programs with subtitles, which I think I said when Alain Delon died. I always did like watching watching French programs with subtitles. Trying to learn the words and match up the French with the English and catching the mistranslations. Here we go again with this Stravagin. I've got no idea how you'd say it, mate. This is you're walking about, hanging about, just lolling about, I would say. But yeah, you and your strange Scottish words. I'll be calling you Jock Attack instead of Jack Attack if you carry on. Okay, where are we? Where you see, he's lost my place for me now. Got up, walk the dog. Quiet day, yeah. You're just watching TV and just so many of my days, folks, are literally just passing time. And it's good that I've got the entertainment to be able to just pass time and just sit here and keep out of trouble. My dog can't walk far, so it's not like I can take off and go off to the seats on the top of the cliffs that are half a kilometre or more that way. Those would be a stretch for her now. We can do that occasionally. Depends how much walking she's had to do the day before. But no, we don't. We're not as mobile as we once were. We're not as mobile as we once were. So yeah, Saturday night comes along and Big Clive, bigclive.com over on, is it Twitch? It's over on Twitch now. His live stream show. Watch Big Clive and then Scruff Dog afterwards. Hanging out in the chat with Jack Attack there. And I would send me an email, Stephanie, and we can chat about vets and things. Yeah, it was awkward timing with things previously. I got ill, and then the big storm happened, and then I was ill again after. It's a bit awkward. It's scheduled for some time soon, but I've got to get ducks in a row, really. There was an issue. A guy was going to give me a lift, and then he's gone. He's left the country. It was all. There was logistics involved and issues. Happy to chat about it privately rather than the more public. Everybody, my email is almost always in the description and often in the pinned comment after YouTube publishes this. The day after they do some post processing with the chat and everything, and then I'll go in and watch it and add the some details to the pinned comment. Where am I now? Big Clive and Scruff Dog. Yeah, so that's those. I love my weekend, my Friday and Saturday nights with those guys. It's usually with Friday night tights, but this week we got an extra Scruff Dog. So we had Scruff Dog on Wednesday night, Friday night, and then Saturday night. I feel like I've spent more time on Scruff Dogs. Yeah, Tina has a good days and bad days. Usually just as somebody says, oh, she doesn't look like she's deteriorating, usually then she'll fall over or do something to make it look bad. She has her timing issues, little bugger. Okay, folks, Saturday night into Sunday morning, and I'm watching videos in the night and I put a video on and I kept falling asleep. Kept falling asleep. So set it going, start to watch it, fall asleep, it's finished, wake up, click the button to replay again. 4 times I was on this one video. Kind of almost woke up with a headache in the end because of the replaying of the beginning. I see the first 2 minutes of it and then wake up and it's finished. There was a question there about Tina and ticks and fleas. We've had no problems with ticks or fleas. Usually she's got a flea collar on. Haven't got one at the minute, but I got some spray that's similar kind of stuff. You know, it sprays the chemicals on or whatever, makes her smell nice and pretty, and the fleas and ticks don't like it. Flies hang around her sometimes and harass her, but and me as well because we're in a field. But no, fleas and ticks haven't been a problem. There was a time when I was in my last apartment before I was made homeless. There was some wasteland opposite, and all we had to do was walk through that and go home, and she'd have 5 or 6 ticks that I'm having to pull off her. Yeah, no, she only had to look at that piece of land to get ticks. But while we've been here when we're in the park and in this field, we've had very little trouble from anything like that. There was one time I was checking through her and there was this little insect kind of walking and tumbling over, walking and kind of somersaulting, kind of rolling as it walked, like a diamond-shaped thing, like 2 triangles, and it's flipping and rotating. I just picked that out and spent the next couple of days combing through and looking to see if there was anything, see if there was any follow-up. And whatever it was just a one-off. It was just one little biddy that had crawled onto her by the looks of things. So no, we've been lucky with that. We've been real lucky with that. We only get the cheap Mercadona do it's like €5 or €4.50, a little flea collar. In the before times, before I was homeless, we'd get the proper one. It's called something like Stereogen or something. I can't remember the name of it, but that one is proper real chemicals that absorb into the dog's skin and bloodstream. We always used to have this proper one, and it was bloody expensive. There was one vet charged me €80 for 2. I bought one for Tina and one for my pal's dog, and it came to €80. And the next time I bought them at a different vet's, it was only like 45 or 50 for the pair. But that was in the before times when I had access to my money. Can't afford that level now, so we go with the cheaper ones from Mercadona. At the minute, she hasn't got one on. She scratched it off not long ago. I might even have one buried somewhere in one of these boxes. That's the thing, living in a tent, and things get put in boxes and lids get put on, and then other boxes get put on top. Sometimes you just lose track of what you've got. It's entirely possible that I've got one of these €5 dog collars laying around in here somewhere. It's entirely possible. And if not those, then a couple of the pipettas. You break the end off and pour the chemical out and under the hair, under the fur. Yeah, some dogs don't get on well with them. Flea and tick drops make some dogs ill, yeah. I guess it depends which ones they are. Some of them are just like a herbal thing, and it's just like citronella and I don't know, fucking lemongrass or something. Whereas others are proper real chemicals, Depends whether you're going to a herbalist or a proper scientist for your supplies. Okay, into Sunday morning, folks. I was watching videos. I said I kept having to replay the same video because I kept falling asleep through it. I like to stay awake through the nights at the weekend. It's one of my main entertainment kind of nights. But some days, you ever have one of those days where you're battling to stay awake and you're just losing the battle? You just can't do it. This was one of those. So, yeah. Like I said, I ended up waking up with almost a bit of a headache, really, just from listening to the same video over and over. But we get up and out in the end, and I take Tina for a walk at 9 a.m. So not too late. somehow I forgot. On the way back, I would normally put the solar panel out, or on the way out, like I said, lean the solar panel into the sun. This morning, somehow, I've come back from the dog walk and just walked right past it and forgotten about it. Left it till 10 o'clock again. But we got fully topped up in the end, and I've spent the day charging batteries for these lights so that I've got them here if we need them during TrampCast. Where is it? Here it is. So that we've got the lights if we need them. And we're getting there, aren't we? Although that's probably not going to be stable there. Where can I put that? There, maybe. I don't know. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly finished. So yeah, spent the day charging the batteries again. Winter, I knew winter was always going to be about managing the power. Trying to get enough into the EcoFlow. Which, I gotta say, has been an absolute revelation. Last winter I had the 2 small panels. In going into winter, I only had the 1 small panel that was only 10 watts. And then Mark and Jeff that had given me those panels and batteries and things gave me a second panel. And in the end I hooked that up to the female end of the cigarette lighter in a car. They don't call them cigarette lighters anymore, do they? They call them power ports. But I wired it up to one of those, so you both come in, there's that, and then I can do the cigarette lighter, and I was taking the power into the EcoFlow before we got the bigger panel. But the combination of the EcoFlow and this 100-watt solar panel, it's just been revolutionary. I said it earlier, I will just restate it now. Guys, get one. Even if you never use it, get one. Have it fully powered, and when the power cut comes, you're there, you're done. And if you've got a solar panel and the power cut carries on, you just put it out in the sun the next morning, if there is any kind of sun, and get it topped up. As a minimum, even on a cloudy day, it'll get enough power to charge as many phones and tablets and things as you want. It'll get you all you could need. Mine is the bottom spec, the EcoFlow River 2, 250 watt hours it stores. Only 1/4 kilowatt hour. It's what? It's 1/4 car battery. That's all it stores. Now you've got full access to it. If you use an actual car battery, you only get to use half of what's available. So in some ways it's half of a car battery for making it available to you to use. A lead acid car battery, that would be. But it's for me, it's been revolutionary. I was cooking all summer in a slow cooker, plugged in, running 220 volts, and cooking jacket potatoes or a curry or a spaghetti bolognese. I've got videos, you've seen them. I do cookery videos on the channel. They've got their own playlist somewhere. If you click through to my channel, click my name at the bottom there where it says Delta Mike down and out in Torrevieja. Click that actual wording, takes you to the channel, click playlists and look through. There's quite a few different playlists, and my cookery ones are there. Now I'm no Gordon Ramsay, fucking tramp living in a field, but I was doing all right for a while. I don't think in winter I get enough power to be able to cook. I might be able to do a spag bol, but that would probably be pushing, and I'd probably have to pre-soak just put the pasta in the tomato for 2 or 3 hours, let it rehydrate, and then heat it, because that'll minimize the power use. I'm going to experiment with that sometime soon. But I do have other means at my disposal, and I am starting to look. I'm going a little bit ahead of myself here, but I am starting to look and think about Christmas dinner and what I'm going to do at Christmas. So stay tuned for that. We'll maybe come up with some kind of. I'll probably get myself in trouble revealing some of my cooking items that I'm not supposed to have. But I won't tell if you don't. Okay, so yeah, as I said, that really has been my Sunday, getting everything charged up and getting my lighting ready, getting my batteries charged ready for this. So yeah, as I was just saying, in the upcoming, I said about planning. I'm starting to think ahead for Christmas, and how I can cook with one gas ring, one camping stove. How I can cook a Christmas dinner if I do it a day, or if I do bits of it a day or so ahead. Yeah, the beach isn't really a beach. The beach is a solid rock with stones on top. Um, I guess you could do a fire pit on top of rocks, but rocks that have been wet can be dangerous if you do fire on them, can't they? They can explode. As I found out once when I used to cook here in the early days, I had the idea of heating rocks to bring in after. I had rocks in the fire so that after cooking, because I used to have I used to cook with a proper real flame out here, back before it got too dried out. And the idea was to bring the stones in at night. But then one day they started pinging, and they were like bullets flying past me. I was lucky I didn't get hit by them. You live and learn. I've been making all this shit up as I go, folks. It's not like I'm some ultra-trained Boy Scout. You need a more powerful eco-flow. Now we're dreaming, aren't we? More powerful eco-flow, a couple of extra solar panels, a proper fridge freezer instead of just a cool box. Tina girl, Tina, let's have some quiet. Okay, folks, so that was the upcoming section. I've got my... Tina! Thank you. Thank you for the warning. I hear them as well, but they're not going to hurt us, okay? It's okay. Tina's okay. Hey? Tina's okay. Daddy's okay. We're all okay. Calmate, amiga mia. Tranquilo. Okay. I think I'm about ready to let you go, folks. If there are any more questions, any follow-ups on anything that's been said, I'm here. But failing that, I'll give you 30 seconds or so in case anybody's typing anything. But failing that, look at this. The number here suddenly shoots up just as I'm about to leave. Thumbs up, folks, if you wouldn't mind. I know some of you have just arrived and might not have actually seen anything worthy of a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it anyway. The replay will be available straight afterwards, but won't have the chat replay available. You usually have to wait until tomorrow morning for chat replay to be processed and synchronized with the video. Tina! So that will be available probably 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Spanish time. Am I going to have any company for Christmas? No, I don't think so. Tina! Enough! Most of the people that I know that are here go home for Christmas, so a lot of the friends have already gone. Like my friend Ismo, who's working in Finland. So no, I think it's just going to be me and my doggy pal here. So yeah, it'll be a quiet one. It usually is. Somebody might take pity on me. What tends to happen as we get closer to Christmas, some of these people here in the apartments that overlook the field here and some of the surrounding area, if they're heading off back to the UK or Norway or Sweden, they'll come down and maybe bring me bags, the bags of food that would have been left in their cupboards or their fridge. So sometimes I get a bit of help closer to Christmas, but that's just people popping by, wishing me the best, and passing me a bit of food. But yeah, I think any more, folks. Let's an electric turkey roaster. I can only use about 250 watts I can draw at once. Some gadgets I can draw up to 500 watts. So it depends on the voltages and the power draw, the amperes. Multiply the volts by the amps and see what's what. So, for example, I've got a TV here that I can put on. I might treat myself at Christmas. Power something, put something on a USB stick and put it in the TV and maybe watch something there. But I've got to be careful about the power usage. I can only power that for about 3 hours before it will totally drain the EcoFlow, together with my other normal uses. The solar, no, not solar, the slow cooker, sorry, will draw up to about 200 watts on high power and just under 100 on the low setting. So that works okay, but I need one charge of the EcoFlow isn't enough to cook to cook most things. I need the sun to be there to be topping it up as I'm using it. So I don't know. It all depends on power consumption, power draw on devices, and heating with electricity is generally considered inefficient. Uses a lot of power for not much in the way of results. My friend left me out of his car. He had a heater that you plug in, and he said, here for if it gets cold in winter, but that draws 1,000 watts. There's no way on earth. There's a slight possibility that I could plug it in and put it on low, and it might just about work on low, but I would get less than 1 hour's use out of it even on low. I'm assuming it might have a low setting that draws about 250, maybe 300 watts. That would wipe me out in under 1 hour. So the best thing I can do for heating is boil water and put it into plastic pop bottles and create hot water bottles. I'll dig out the hot water bottle that Karen gave me last year that's around here somewhere. But so far I haven't been cold, so that's not an issue. But yeah, cooking, I have a camping stove and a gas ring, and so yeah, I'll be all right. I'll manage. I don't know whether I can make a video of me cooking with these things, because if you remember, the police came and stole my gas barbecue a while back. Bastards. So yeah, that's us, folks. I think that's it. A shorter one this week, I think, and probably better for it. I thank you all very much for your attendance, and for those of you that have been here from the beginning and are still here at the end. Thank you very much. For anyone who's joined late and doesn't know who the fuck or what the hell is happening, I'm a homeless guy, an Englishman, trapped in Spain, living in a field, in a broken down tent, where all the roofs have been ripped off, most of the sides have been ripped off. I've got a tarpaulin over the top that got battered in the big storm not long ago, so that's got its rips and tears and problems. Just trying to get by, just trying to live. Me and my doggy, who's got deteriorating health. So that's the story. This is the story of my, I do this each week. The successes, the failures, the other happenings in my life as a homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode, some would say a bum, and other words, someone who sleeps rough in the streets, or in my case in a field. This was TrampCast episode 49. The next one is a big 50. I would imagine that in the numbers section we'll be talking about Hawaii at some point in the next episode. I still got the idea to do some specials and to fill in with the missing weeks where I didn't do. Especially I want to do the 1 week, the one with the big storm. I want to get that done. But I've got other ideas for some other specials that we'll do in between, and those don't get numbered. Those aren't numbered episodes. My specials go in just as standalone, unnumbered. So we have already done more than 50 of these, really, but they're just not numbered that way. Okay, folks, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for being here. Catch you next time. Oh, let's see if we can do the proper tradition. Hold on. See whether we can do it properly. Can we see that? Tina girl? From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike, out.